things, well, I would say the thing that you're most known for is getting stung by an array of different creatures. You know, whether it be
Hmm.
the killer cow or I mean, there's a million
Cow
things.
killer.
Your most popular video I was just watching was the cow killer. I don't know if it's a killer
Yeah.
cow killer. Um, and you've done the murder hornet. You've done a bunch of different things. What would you say has been the craziest thing that you've ever been stung by, as far as the most painful?
Well, the executioner wasp definitely is the number one on the list at this point, according to me. You have to remember, like, somebody could probably go out and recreate their own sting index if they're crazy enough to get to some of these places that I've been and be stung by these things. But it all originated with a guy named Justin Schmidt. He's an entomologist that's based out of Arizona. So I was following his roadmap of the things that he had been stung by, and he had ranked the bullet ant as the most painful sting in the world. I kind of went beyond that and was stung by the giant hornet and the execution wasp, for two things that he was actually not stung by. And I sort of rearranged my version of the sting index a little bit to break apart ants from wasps. Because when you think about a wasp or a hornet, like if you were to stumble into a bullet ant nest and you took a handful of stings, like ants can't chase you that far, right? But if you mess up and run into a nest of giant hornets or executioner wasps with wings, they can pursue you for quite some distance. So there are some more potent consistencies to the venoms that come out of the giant hornet and the executioner wasp as well. So the top ranking for me is the executioner wasp, and just below that is the giant hornet, which of course now is socially known as the murder hornet, based on all the craziness that broke out last year in the Pacific Northwest, which was pretty crazy for us because when we launched that Japanese giant hornet video originally, it did exceptionally well. I mean, I would consider it a viral hit, but then it had like this second viral wave that happened last spring where I think it like doubled its number of views
Wow.
in like a month and a half, which was kind of crazy. I mean, as you know, you have no indicator as to what's going to be a viral video, I think, unless you're Mr. Beast these days. So it's always
Right.
awesome when one hits.
So I know there's a sting index. So you go into this and you see the ranking of what you're about to get stung by on the sting index. Is there, would you say the sting index is accurate, or would you say that now that you've been stung by just about everything on that list, would you reorder it completely differently? Were you surprised by anything? Did anything hurt more than expected or less than expected?
When I first started doing the stings, I would say my anxiety was definitely higher as I was going into taking the sting. As I went on and progressed up that ranking system, I think maybe mentally I just became a little bit more comfortable with what I was going through. Um, I wouldn't necessarily rearrange it when it came to the different levels of pain. I think that was all pretty accurate. But the thing to also note is that pain is subjective, right? Like
Right.
it's
How you
on you to
handle it.
determine what's going to actually be painful. Now, when you break down the science of it and you talk about the components that make up the venom, certain venoms do certain things, and it's different based on whether or not it's a bite or a sting, right? So that's one thing people oftentimes get confused with. They'll come up to me, if I get recognized, probably like, dude, you're that guy that got bit by the bullet ant. I'm like, well, technically, I got stung by the bullet ant, and here's the difference. So when something stings you, it's a defensive maneuver to like give itself time to get away. If something's biting and it's using venom, it's using that venom to kill its prey item. So it's going to be much more detrimental effects. So anytime you're bitten by
Wow.
something that's venomous, it's way worse than a sting. But it's also fair to say that with stings, you never know how your body's going to react. I mean, a single honeybee sting can send a human body into anaphylactic shock if you're allergic to that venom or a certain component of that venom. So, a single bee sting can be just as potentially tragic as, 100 executioner wasp stings. It's all based on your body. So to more directly answer your question, I think I ranked it accurately, but I think I gained more confidence in how we were filming the videos. And then, I mean, almost like an athlete going out to play a sports game, right? If you're Michael Jordan and you go out there to play a game, and I'm by no means comparing myself to Michael Jordan playing basketball in the realm of getting stung by insects, but as you start doing stuff that it's going to be a success, you have a confidence that you come into it with. Like when I produced the first few Sting episodes, like we had no idea they'd be successful. And then it's like, you can start kind of calling your shot to be like, I know the audience is going to like this. So you're amped up internally because you're like, dude, I'm making this for the audience. I'm going to educate them. I'm going to entertain them. And you're more confident just knowing that it's going to do good.